Hey, guess what?
What's up?
All right, so you kept telling me to see it. I finally saw Tucker and Dale.
Oh, yeah? What'd you think?
Well, it didn't make it very far in. That was kind of garbage.
You have bad taste in movies.
Yeah, that could be a good topic for today.
All right.
Here we go. You are listening to the Old Titans. I am Jon-Paul, your host.
I am the main host with good taste in movies, the B-Man.
We're going to discover in just a little
Yes,
bit
we will.
what we think on these different movie tastes.
Okay.
Alrighty, but in the meantime, welcome back. We missed a week due to schedules.
We did.
And stuff like that. But we're back. We're
back.
good to go.
Yes.
Our schedules cleared up. We're able to put aside all of our high-powered
My
meetings.
is
and
usually
stuff.
pretty cleared up, but you're the one's the difficult one to get a hold of.
Well, you got those multi-million-dollar deals you're closing left and right.
And this is your time of year. I mean, my time of year passed. October, I want to do all these shows, all different horror shows I wanted to do and kind of stuff.
We talked
all
about
these
that.
plans. We did like one horror show, and that was it.
We did too. We reviewed Halloween and we talked one about horror movies.
Yeah, that's great, Jon-Paul.
Well, that's two.
No, that's a horror one was actually like comic horror, I think.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, so, and you're welcome.
Well, we can bring up some today that we probably disagree on.
Okay.
Maybe. I think there's at least one on my list.
Yes.
Okay. So, should we go with the news?
News, yes.
All right. Just for you, I'm not going to do the
You just did.
news.
You just did it. You lied.
All right. Well, All right. So I'm going to start with one I think we're going to completely agree on. How do you like the idea of the announcement from a day or two ago that they are rebooting Shrek?
It's more of a question as to why.
There you go.
Make sequels.
You asked the exact right question.
I mean, it's like rebooting a comic movie that just came out, a cartoon movie that came like a year ago.
Yeah.
Just making another cartoon.
Well, it's like, would you reboot Bugs Bunny?
No.
Right. You just tell another Bugs Bunny story.
Exactly. I don't get it. I know the last couple of Shreks weren't great.
Right.
I didn't enjoy since part 2, honestly. But I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
No.
But anyway, they're rebooting Shrek, by the way. So,
okay. I guess.
That's one. All right, so here's one that blends into the horror just a little bit, or a lot, depending on how you look at it. They finally cast both Alec Holland and Swamp Thing,
Okay.
both halves of the character,
Yes.
for the Swamp Thing series for DC Universe.
Okay.
So we've got Andy Bean for Alec Holland. Doesn't really mean anything to me, but Andy Bean for Alec Holland.
Who's Andy Bean? What's he done before?
I have no idea.
Okay, good.
Him, I don't know. However, on Swamp Thing, Derek Mears.
Okay.
That's one that does mean something. So he was Jason.
He was a Jason in
A
the
Jason.
remake, and he was not the Jason.
How was his? I mean, it's almost hard to say how was his performance since Jason doesn't have a lot to.
You know some remake before, I'm guessing?
I saw a few minutes of it, but nothing else.
Jason himself was terrifying in the remake. He didn't have the mannerisms Kane Hodder had, but he was fast. He was planning. He was terrifying. So he himself was great. The movie itself had flaws.
So if he can bring that same kind of performance to Swamp Thing,
Intensity. He brought intensity to Jason.
all right, so that could work. So Swamp Thing, and I gotta say, for a character that's really minor in the comics, wouldn't you say? Not that he's been unimportant. I mean, Alan Moore, the whole British invasion of comic writers and everything else started with Alan Moore on Swamp Thing. Vertigo started really with Swamp Thing. I mean, that's
True.
It's not that he's had unimportance, but if you look at the last 80 years of comics,
He's played a minor role, but he's always been a cool character.
he's always been cool, always been around. But he has had 2 movies, an animated show, a live-action show that went multiple seasons,
Right.
a toy line, and now he's getting another live-action show. I mean, seriously, how long has it been since we had Batman on TV?
Wasn't like Toxic Avenger a big superhero for a while too?
Yeah.
And that was terrible.
It was meant to be, though. It was trauma.
Yeah.
It was trauma pictures.
Okay.
That's their whole thing. All right, sorry, I got off topic there a little bit. All right, so I got to say, after this past Sunday, Rick is gone.
Walking Dead.
Yeah, he's gone to the movies.
He's gone to the movies.
Yes, they announced they're going to be doing Walking Dead movies starring Rick.
Really?
Yeah, but he's not on the show anymore. But they left it open, obviously, for him to come back so they could do the movies.
Okay. Well, that's
I don't know. Do you think you'll go see a Walking Dead movie?
too little, too late. I think it's not too little. Actually, it's just too late. I think the show became so problematic that I stopped caring. The first couple seasons, I couldn't get enough of it. Like Game of Thrones, I just could not get enough of it. You do 20 episodes, I'm all in. And then the last couple seasons, I kept predicting this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened. I was dead on, and I didn't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about they always had a great, strong opening and a strong finish, and then nothing in between we cared about.
It's kind of like we live in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
I know you're not a big Simpsons fan.
No.
I used to love them back then. I don't care for them much anymore. It's been on so many years. Let's be real. We know it's a hit, right?
Simpsons? Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Pop culture, absolutely. But Universal Studios did The Simpsons Land eventually. I think it opened like 2 years ago. At this point, it's dating itself.
Yeah, it's past its time.
Yeah, so I think that's just what happened right now, Walking Dead. I think this is past its time. 3 or 4 years ago, absolutely would have been all on.
However, I will say this. Since they're able, when they spend a lot of time and effort on making a good opening episode, or spend the time and effort on making that closing episode.
Oh, that's the thing is, it
could
be great.
The movie could be great because
that's all it is.
There is no in between.
Right. There's no character build up, that kind of stuff.
It's just
because the opening's always great. The first episode's always great, and the last episode, the cliffhangers were always fantastic.
What'll be funny is if we do go see the movie. I bet we do. I bet a movie comes out and we go see it.
Probably.
If say it's a 2-hour movie.
Okay.
If the first 20 minutes to 45 minutes, let's go with 45. Say the first 45 minutes is really, really good.
Yeah.
And the last 45 minutes is really, really good. But a 30-minute section in the middle really, really drags. Yeah. Or any variation like that. That would be absolutely hilarious.
It's probably what happened, though.
Yeah.
I like character development. They just had way too much of it. Like, they beat you down with it.
And again, yes, I like character development. They created so many characters and split them up to where you couldn't blend that development together.
Yeah.
You had to go off and tell something completely separate.
Sure.
All right, but anyway. Oh, by the way, yesterday. Okay, so as we're recording this, yesterday was Election Day.
It was.
Do you know what the most important elected official was yesterday?
You tell me.
You sure?
I mean, there's a lot of them, Jon-Paul.
Yeah.
I'm not a politician person.
President. There was a presidential election yesterday.
I'm pretty sure it was not.
Lex Luthor was elected president yesterday.
Was he?
On Smallville.
On Smallville?
Yeah, last episode of Smallville, they jumped ahead to 2018. And the headlines in the Daily Planet was Lex Luthor elected president. So yesterday, along with the blue wave, red wave,
yeah, I actually remember
else.
seeing that last episode. Chloe called Lois to tell him some stuff. And how's Chloe doing, by the way? How's jail going for her? Going good?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything recently on that.
I meant to look that up the other day.
Yeah, kind of.
I'm pretty sure her truth can come. I think she's never worse 2018 than most people are. So
probably.
The future from that point on, actually, too.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
But anyway, I just thought it was kind of cool with the election going on.
Yeah.
And, it's sad that a part of me wishes that was really the case. And it's sad to wish one of the biggest supervillains of all time, forget about who we rank where. He's definitely in the top tier.
Oh, absolutely. Well, he's both well known, I should say.
Well, him, Joker, Doctor Doom, and so on. But he's in that top 10 group. No matter what, he's in the top 10. Mm-hmm. It's sad to think that I really wish he was president right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not the point. All right, so I got 2 more news items. Unless you got any to throw in there, too.
No, I got it.
Okay, good, too. I'll go with one that's more horror-related last for you. I'll end it on a strong note for you. All right, so the next to last one. Once Upon a Deadpool. The official title for the release here.
PG-13 version.
PG-13. So what do you think about that?
I don't... See, back in the day, or even not back today, they still do it. They release the movie and they have director's cuts, the DVD.
Yes.
Or even sometimes release in theaters, like the longer versions.
And it usually increases the violence. It increases everything. Yeah.
That's what you look forward to. The PG-13 version, they're going to shorten up, essentially. Yeah, they have some couple scenes with him and Fred Savage and whatnot.
Yep.
Which would be kind of interesting seeing. It'd be good fun. I mean, let's be real. Fred Savage, I know
You'd hope so.
Fred Savage is a very busy guy these days, so the fact that he took his time out of his schedule to come do this, thank you, Fred Savage. But I just don't know, nerfing it down to PG-13, I don't know if it's really worth it.
Well, December 12th, some people are going to find out. I won't be finding out. But will you go see it?
Probably not.
Okay. Comes out 2 days before Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse animated movie.
Yeah, no, I have Deadpool 2 on Blu-ray already, so I can see it when I want to see it. And...
It'll be interesting to hear Hard at Work. I bet Hard at Work goes to see it.
Yeah, they will.
And it'll be interesting to hear what they think. I don't know. I'm kind of curious. I am glad they went away from their original idea, which was to put it on December 21st, which is already a crowded, busy time. It was going to be ridiculous. Not because Aquaman's there. Yes, Aquaman's there. But there's 5 movies coming out on that day.
Yeah.
Why
make it worse?
do even worse? So Yeah, December 12th, perfectly fine.
Should have Star Wars that day, personally, but whatever.
That's when it was originally.
I know.
Well, actually, Solo. That's when Solo was.
Oh, Star Wars. Star Wars.
Yeah,
Whatever. Yes.
but specifically, Solo was originally there.
Yeah.
You wonder would it have done any better if they had more time, could have done some extra screenings,
With
done
Solo?
whatever. Yeah, so I enjoyed
Solo the way
I
it was.
enjoyed Solo as it is, but it obviously didn't do as well. But if
Okay.
they had more time,
No, I think the reason it didn't do as well is The Last Jedi fallback. So many fans were so upset about what happened Last Jedi.
but you had
And
a full year.
they're upset. The studio ignored them. That's what happened. The studio and Ryan Johnson controlled the fans.
Yeah.
And that's what killed Solo.
Yeah. No, I
Not
did.
the movie itself,
You
I don't
did.
think.
You're right. All right, so my last item. Last item is horror related.
Okay.
All right, get ready. I want to see if you like this idea.
This is news. I mean, I didn't know this all.
No,
this is shocked me. Okay.
This is one you didn't know that I know of.
Okay.
Just recently, a script was finished for Friday the 13th, the prequel.
Huh.
We know that LeBron James, I mentioned last time, LeBron James, I didn't realize he has his own production company, Spring Hill Entertainment.
Okay.
And he's looking to actually acquire the rights to all the Friday the 13th stuff, which could solve the whole
Lawsuit
lawsuit
yeah.
stuff. If he just buys everybody's rights, no lawsuit anymore. You know, everybody gets what they wanted, good to go. But the script, we don't know if this is a script that would be done, but a script was just turned in for a prequel. He goes back and what was the mom's name? Betsy?
Betsy Palmer was the lady that
That's what I mean. Yeah, the
Pamela
actress.
Pamela Voorhees was the
yeah, Pamela Voorhees, but the actress Betsy Palmer. So it's Betsy Palmer, Pamela Voorhees. It's her younger, and the movie shows how she turns into kind of the psychopath that is the star sort of the first movie. You get to see a young, disfigured Jason in it, that kind of stuff.
It'd be interesting. It's kind of one of those things. Is you're going to see Jason. You can't recapture the magic from the first one. Jason wasn't really in the first one, other than drowning and coming at the very end, this jump scare, whatever it was. But you need Jason.
Well, the one review I read of the script, somebody who had read the script, said that he actually thought it was a better development of the original Jason story than anything of any sequel, except for a little bit of 4, where they tried to get a little bit into
It probably
psychology.
was a good development. I won't deny that part. The Jason doesn't have much of a backstory, other than the fact that he drowned.
Sure.
Let's be real. And he was disfigured. It's just the fact that you're telling this is a slasher movie.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest slashers in history.
So you're going to be able to bring in the slasher stuff, or is it going to be a drama?
It sounds like a drama to me.
Bigger question, would you go see it?
I would say, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, again...
We trashed The Last Jedi. We did go see Solo. Yeah. Episode 9's coming. We'll go see it.
Yeah.
I will say this. If Episode 9 was Ryan Johnson again, and if he had stood up and said, I don't care if you didn't like it, I'm doing the same and more for the next movie, I might have skipped the next Star Wars movie.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
If he does ever get his trilogy, there's a good chance I won't go see it. I don't know. I don't know yet. But
See, the thing with Ryan Johnson, if he gets his own trilogy and creates his own universe, essentially out of the Star Wars stuff, it might be good. One of the reasons I hated The Last Jedi as much as I hated it was the fact that he took these years of build up, said, I don't want to go this direction, let's do something different with the same characters. And that's what I really don't like, that he just changed the characters completely. And he changed the stories before that.
Yeah, and I
think giving him part one of his own story would be fine.
I can see some of that, but my biggest problems was I just thought it was a poorly made movie. I don't want to get back. We've talked about that so much.
Okay.
We agree completely.
Yeah.
Completely agree. But I think it was just such a badly made movie that I just don't care about seeing anything else he makes.
Okay.
And it could be he ends up being a great... You're right. He could end up doing a fantastic story, and I eat my words. And
It was more me saying that I think you just make him his own characters. He can make his own characters, make everything himself, and give him complete control. He might do a good job.
Yeah, could be.
I think it's so poor is the fact that it was poorly made, and the story was just all over the place. 'Cause he was limited to do. He wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
But he had all those elements in there to make the story go on. And I think it was a disaster.
And then just... I'm not even going to do it. I
think he'd be. I'm actually. You know how I feel about him. I think he'd be good. I just think the way he handled it, the feedback when we were trolling the fans was just horrible, and it cost him $1 billion at least.
All right. So that's the last news item I had. So, our main topic here.
Yes.
All right.
Now, should we bring up the boxing gloves, Jon-Paul? Because, I mean, this...
let's just go bare fist.
If we YouTube this fight, it'll be the most pathetic fight you guys have ever seen in your life.
There is that.
Eventually, there'll be a winner. So one of us will just get tired.
All right. So, as I said, I saw Tucker and Dale.
Yes.
And after mentioning that a few moments ago, we said, hey, that could be a good idea. Then we paused, and nobody knows this. We paused, and we spent 2 weeks of development on this episode. So it'd be completely thought out.
Even the news was already... Oh, no.
Everything. Yeah, we were precognitive and all this kind of stuff. It's great. And we made up a list of movies we disagree on that... And we're not the only ones who disagree. I mean, there's a few here that maybe the vast public goes one way or the other, but both directions.
Right.
But we definitely disagree strongly on these movies.
Okay, let's do this.
All right.
Jon-Paul.
Let's start with the first one. Let's start with Tucker and Dale.
Yeah.
So Tucker and Dale versus
I
Evil.
laughed the entire movie. The entire movie I laughed. How far did you get exactly?
I made it 30, 35 minutes in.
When was the last time you saw it?
I assume we'll say it up front. Most of these are not new movies, but just to cover it, spoilers. We're going to mention stuff we do or don't like about it.
I'm guessing they hurt her head to drown whatever it was and tried to drown and they saved her.
I made it all the way to the point where they've shown up at the cabin. They're trying to decide who goes in, and one of them's finally picked to go up and knock on the door of the cabin. Meanwhile, which one is Alan Tudyk? Is he Tucker or Dale?
He's Dale.
He's Dale. Okay,
So Dale. Was he Dale?
We'll just say Alan Tudyk then. So Alan Tudyk's in the back getting ready to cut some wood with his chainsaw, and he's cutting through a log, and he hits a beehive, and the bee
And he runs away.
And he starts running out, waving the chainsaw back and forth like a maniac. And all the kids run screaming. And he's running after them screaming. He didn't even notice them, I don't think, but he's running after them. And then one of the kids, in not paying attention, impales himself on a log.
Yes.
Okay. Right after the impaling on a log is where I paused the movie. I looked at Karen and was like, are you enjoying anything about this?
But again, and
neither of us.
Because you guys had this weird movie thing. I just don't get it. I think you guys have this... Honestly, I think you guys go with this vision of what this movie's going to be, and it's not that exact vision. You guys don't like it. I think that's what it is.
I don't think it's so much that as it is... We definitely have taste that we like some stuff and not others. Certain types of humor, certain types of horror, certain types of whatever. And whether it's expectations or not, if it fits a certain type, I'm not going to like it. Like Deadpool, Will Ferrell, different things like that. In this one, we went in very positive. We went in assuming we were going to like this movie. It has Alan Tudyk. And while I can't remember the other actor's name, we love him too. Seen him in multiple things. Love both of them. We like spoofs of horror. This should have been a movie we just loved.
Well, it was a movie that I did love, and they had making a sequel to it eventually. Because people loved it.
Alrighty. I just don't get it, but okay.
I know you don't. So let's go to some movies that you think are...
All right, so we'll go to one that I loved.
Okay.
And that the general public, for the most part, loves. I know in general you don't like musicals.
Right.
But there's one that... I can get it with Sound of Music. I can get it with Les Miserables. Those kind of things. I get it. This is going to appeal to a certain taste. But everybody loves Grease.
Okay.
And you?
I don't like musicals. I don't like music. That's what it is. I just don't like musicals. I want to see a story. I want to see the story. I don't want to sit around and dance and just tell me the story. So, I mean...
No changity-chang.
No, I mean, again, there's some things I just don't care for. I meant the Phantom of the Opera movie. I did enjoy, but that was very... It's kind of horror in a way.
Yeah.
Gothic horror, I guess. And so I did enjoy that. It dragged at times for me. It really dragged at times for me. But the music Grease didn't catch me. Just the story. I'm not a Travolta fan.
Yeah.
I'm not at all, which doesn't help any.
Yeah. Of course, at the time, not only... Travolta at the time was very different than Travolta now, but...
I still can't stand
it.
Either way. Mr. Carter.
I loved Vinnie Barbarino.
Well, I do too. That's a good show.
See that? You had her, Olivia Newton-John was just incredible.
But that's the thing about, I acknowledge that it's a good movie. I also acknowledge that it's not my genre. Yeah. And that's what it is. There's some things that aren't your genre.
Well, and here's one I don't have written down, but I'll say this is one back the other direction. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
I admit, I've seen the whole thing on that one. This is not one I stopped early. Watched the whole thing. I did not care for it. It is a very well-made movie. The actors do a good job, except maybe for one, and we can debate whether he's supposed to be completely
he was like that
intentionally,
but good.
But it's a well-made movie.
Okay.
I didn't care for one bit of it, except for Rocket. Rocket Raccoon is great. I could watch just his movie.
Oh, he's going to be the next one by himself. Yeah, this way, anyways.
Leave Groot out. Groot was stupid. Groot's fine for 5 minutes. It's almost like if you're watching Seinfeld. Kramer's fine for 5 minutes. Don't do a Kramer movie or Kramer TV show.
Well, I think he's pretty much done anyways.
Yeah, what I mean. When Friends ended, the one character they spun off into his own series was Joey.
Yeah.
The only one you could do a worse standalone show for would have been Phoebe.
Probably true.
I like Joey. I like Phoebe. They didn't need their own show. So, but Guardians is one that I just don't care for.
I love Guardians.
And most people do. So let's get to some that are more controversial here. Jaws 3.
Yes.
More controversial only because I'm going to say I enjoyed it.
I did not enjoy the movie whatsoever.
And you love Jaws.
I love Jaws. I worked on the ride.
Person.
My wife and I met there. Jaws 1 is probably my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Jaws 2 is a great sequel, I think, to the original. I absolutely love Jaws, the first 2 Jaws movies. Absolutely loved them.
And Jaws 3, it could be two things. One, it's got Louis Gossett Jr. in it.
Who was good in that movie?
If he's in a movie, I'm going to enjoy the movie, probably. I love Louis Gossett Jr. For whatever reason, I love him on screen. 2, I was at an age where I did see it. I don't know if you did or not, but I saw it in the theater in 3D. And, the old cheap cardboard.
Yeah, the red and blue glasses.
Yeah, red and blue thing. I don't know, were you old enough to have seen it?
I saw it in theaters, but I think they released it again, and I was a little older. Because I was actually in SeaWorld in Orlando when they were actually taping it. And so a lot of the rides are closed. I remember the time we were going to the Shark Cave. Yeah. We couldn't go in that because it was closed for filming.
Well, this is the last time we had a 3D wave come through. And you had, Friday the 13th 3 in 3D. Mm-hmm. You had Jaws 3 in 3D. There was 3 or 4 or 5 movies in a row that they tried the 3D thing on, then it died off again. Right. Until, I guess, Avatar. I guess Avatar is where it really...
Nightmare tried it years later.
Yeah.
But that wasn't... Yeah.
But seeing it in 3D, seeing a place I'd visited, SeaWorld. I love Florida. I didn't live in Florida at the time, but, seeing a place I'd visited, SeaWorld, having Louis Gossett Jr. and seeing it in 3D, and seeing it as a young kid, I enjoyed it. And it has enough nostalgia. When I sit down and watch it now, I still enjoy it. So
just a big scene when I've seen it recently and it still bothers me because I've seen all the Jaws. I watched all the Jaws, even Part 4, which you both agree is really really bad. I mean, you wouldn't mean Part 4 as being horrible, right?
You knew in the first 5 minutes you should not have paid money to see this movie.
I paid to see Part 4 in the theater.
I did too.
And the original ending Part 4 was when she stabs him with a boat, he actually blows up. I can't figure out why the shark blows up in Part 4 or whatever. Anyways. So go back to Part 3 for a second here. He's coming out to the screen. It's the big screen. He pops up. You can see him. Okay. He does not move at all. He just gets bigger. And that really bothers me to this day.
They just slowly enlarged it. Huh?
Yeah, and the guy who we ate like 20 minutes ago has his arm extended from his mouth with a grenade in his hand, just coincidentally. Like, come on, man. Like, they didn't have an ending to that. Or there's a whole part of, what keeps others... Because no cages in the water, right?
Yeah.
So what keeps the sharks from going this area? The bubbles. It bothers them. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I see it.
You're stretching.
It is. But I enjoyed the performances enough.
Okay.
I liked seeing the kids grown up.
I mean, there were cool parts. There were cool parts where, Louis Gossett Jr. is eating in that underwater area, and I ate that before. And they see the great white just swim past, and people try to freak. That was awesome. That was a really cool scene. Or the part where the great white in the shark cave, and they see the great white Jaws himself as swings by. It's creepy. So there are really fun parts of that movie. Yeah. I won't deny it, but I will say it's a bad movie.
All right. Jason X.
And this is what shocks me because out of all fictional characters, obviously you're a big comic guy. Batman's probably my favorite to this day, my favorite, but I'm a huge Jason fan. He's my top 5.
Yeah, you love Jason.
I love him.
Even the remake, right?
Even
if you didn't love the movie, you love Jason in it.
Right. Okay. So Jon-Paul is right now walking away from the... You got to do that right now? You have to do that right now? Put the marker away?
I had to do it right then.
Why? You can wait until the show's over to put it down.
It wouldn't have mattered.
I would have held it for you, Jon-Paul.
I made a comment and you were going to speak next and no one would
I was going to, but you getting up and walking away was distracting me.
Yeah, okay, I'm back. All right, so Jason.
Yes, Jason X, which was not a good movie. And you told me, watch it again. No one gets out of a Jason movie and I might actually enjoy it. And I watched it again and I still can't get into it.
So it is meant, much like Tucker and Dale.
Right. As a horror spoof.
To be a horror spoof of itself.
Right.
Of its own franchise.
Right.
And the two guys who made the movie even said that. That was what they went in doing. They went in to make a movie that made fun of all of the different elements of the previous Jason movies. I mean, they didn't like make a long list and say, we got to hit this, hit this. It was just, in general, you had all the different stuff, but let's do it in a sci-fi setting. Because we all sit around, hey, who's stronger? Would Batman beat up Captain America? Or, we all have those kind of things. Ooh, what if you had,
no, I guess
Batman on an alien planet? Well, this was what if Jason was on a spaceship in outer space in the future or whatever? Yeah. So it was a cool setting with all that different stuff. You got to see original Jason. You got to see an upgraded Jason.
There's Kane Hodder.
You got to see something you always kind of wanted to see. If I remember right, at the very beginning, they captured him.
He was
in the woods, right?
No, I think
did they not? Or they already captured him?
They already captured him, and he escaped. And there were other people killing him, and they ended up freezing him.
Yeah, but okay, so he's in the chains in the military facility. Yeah. It's one of those things you'd think if the military ever took Jason seriously, they could capture him.
Well, they took him seriously. Jason goes to hell. They blew him up.
Yeah, but think about it. In the real world, if you really had a Jason out there, you could go through 2 or 3 instances of a killer like that killing people over 10 or 20 a year or whatever period. It could happen. But at some point, somebody's going to take it seriously, and they're going to go out and they're going to capture the guy or kill the guy.
Right.
So they get him captured. All that makes perfect sense. So they started out really cool, and then twisted into the future side of things. And I loved everything about that movie.
I'm glad you did. I wish they make more Jason movies. Unfortunately, they're not right now.
Yeah. And they even gave it a good chance. People like reboots, or at least movie studios. Movie studios like reboots. They even gave it a chance at the end for a reboot when they had him crash to New Earth or whatever it was, right near a lake.
Yeah,
they could have started from scratch.
He was in Jason X form at that point.
Yeah, but after the crash and burning up the atmosphere, they could have. Had all of his armor and everything else.
It's just done. What's done is done.
Yeah,
Damage was done.
But it's, they could have done more with that.
I wouldn't end up.
I'd love to see a Jason X2. I don't know.
X squared?
X squared, yeah. Jason X squared. All right. Let's pick one that you really, really, really like and I really, really, really don't. Since that was the reverse there, since I really like that. Spider-Man?
Homecoming.
Loved
it. I think this is dating back to the fact that I think because it came out so close to Wonder Woman, and I do think because you are such a DC biased you are DC biased, to be real.
I really love DC.
Yeah.
But remember, at one point I bought everything DC and Marvel.
I know, but I'm also going to say that I think in your mindset you are, and I know you won't admit this, I don't even think you realize you do this, you're constantly comparing these DC movies. And when Wonder Woman came out, and I think you had to convince yourself that Wonder Woman was so much better than this movie was, that it just wasn't a good movie.
Wonder Woman was better.
No, it was not a better movie.
Absolutely
not a better movie. Wonder Woman was a rip-off of Captain America and Thor. It was good. Really enjoyed it. Rip-off of Captain America and Thor. Don't even deny that one. It was good.
No. Yeah.
Okay, so we
do have this. Well, let me say this. In the comic, go back to the original comic story.
Okay, go ahead.
Both Wonder Woman and Captain America happen to be set in their original timelines in World War II. World War II, not World War I, which they did change it for the movie for Wonder Woman. But they were both World War II set characters that had adventures at that time period, and then eventually were moved forward in time in different ways. One was different Earth, that everything happened later, and the other was frozen in a block of ice, floating around the ocean for a long time.
So basically this story of this superhuman person with superhuman strength who meets up this ragtag group of people going after this super villain who wants world domination, and ends up with a beautiful blonde guy named Steve dying in a plane crash at the very end of the movie. That's not the same. Oh, which movie are you talking about? Both movies.
Yeah, Ares didn't want world domination, if you're talking about.
He shot the Germans at that point, and Ares happened to be part of that group, and there's a tiny little difference that Jon-Paul that you're digging for. Anyways, so I literally said the same story plot line to the same exact in both movies.
But it wasn't exactly
both with a guy named Steve, blonde, beautiful guy named Steve dying at the end of the movie. In a plane, mind you. Okay, so Captain America really died. We thought he died. Did Steve
Trevor?
Did he really die? Who knows?
We'll find out in the next movie.
Maybe. What I'm saying right now is very, very similar to Captain America. You cannot deny that. We're talking Force Awakens to New Hope. Similarity.
Except I gotta say, like Steve Trevor dying, you're way, way, way off base on that one. Captain America crashed in his plane. Stu Trevor blew up in the air.
You're right.
Completely different.
You're right. So, anyways, back to my point. This very yeah, I enjoyed Wonder Woman a lot. I loved it.
Yeah. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man Homecoming. The villain, much better villain than Wonder Woman had. Much better. We can't even compare. Vulture was an amazing villain. He's probably the second best villain to Loki. Hands down, he was amazing. Mike Keaton was amazing in that role.
I'd say
Tom Holland was
Keaton did a fantastic job as Michael Keaton. I don't mean playing himself, but I mean when he was out of costume, when he was the dad driving the car in the front seat, and because Michael Keaton did an incredible job. The Vulture, the mechanical version of the Vulture, it looked cool, but I'm not a huge fan of the mechanical Vulture.
No, Vulture wasn't a big villain. Let's be real. He was weak.
But
they had to make him cool. Tom Holland played Spider-Man great. He's the only Spider-Man that gave comic relief to that character and the childish innocence of that character. Tom Holland was amazing as Spider-Man. He was an amazing Spider-Man. See what I did?
Yeah, I see what you did.
Oh, it was intentional at the time. It was, and watch those movies. To take my daughter, I think she liked Wonder Woman better. I really did. So, especially the little girl part at the very beginning of the movie. We watched them right now again. I even asked her. We watched it, I think, 2 months ago. Which one we watch again? Spider-Man. It was a more fun movie. Wonder Woman.
Oh, it's definitely more fun. Yeah, no question.
And I think this wouldn't be mindset that because it came out at the same exact time that you weren't going to enjoy it.
They're about a month apart, something like that.
Same exact time. Let's be real.
But that doesn't really matter much because we're going to get to Avengers a little bit.
Right.
But like Avengers 3 and Ant-Man and the Wasp came out a month and a half apart.
Okay.
Love one, hate the other. So that doesn't really matter.
But the general consensus behind Spider-Man, most people liked it. Can't deny that one. It was mostly liked. Same thing with Avengers. Most people enjoyed Avengers.
Yeah. But I will say on Spider-Man, for Marvel, if I had to pick like my top 10 favorite heroes or whatever of all time, there's a good chance both Spider-Man and the Hulk would be in my top 10.
Mine too.
I love Spider-Man and the Hulk.
Me too.
Doesn't matter if they're Marvel, DC, or anything else.
Correct.
Spidey and the Hulk are... When I had to start trimming back what I was buying...
I think when the original Spider-Mans came with Tobey Maguire, there wasn't a DC competition. There was no DC. I mean...
Well, they alternated back and forth. You had a period with Superman and Batman movies. Then you had a period with some of that. They kind of alternated.
I think right now because the competition was so heated and the competition Marvel was just dominant. I mean, you can't deny Marvel was dominant the competition.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
That I think this set off something in your mind where you couldn't say. I know you're going to deny it. You can deny all you want, but I think that's the truth. I tell you this every single time.
I honestly think it has nothing to do with it. I have an idea.
But okay,
here's a preconceived notion. You mentioned earlier preconceived notion. I have an idea of who Spider-Man should be. Who Spider-Man is and who Spider-Man should be.
Okay.
His origin, his supporting cast, all of that. And they changed every single bit of all of that in this movie. Alex said it best. My son Alex said it best. This was probably more the Ultimate Universe Spider-Man. Pre-Miles Morales, because it started as Peter.
Right.
And eventually Peter dies and becomes Miles. Spoiler. Don't think it matters anymore. But either way, this was more of the Ultimate Universe version of Spider-Man.
Okay.
And honestly, I didn't care about the Ultimate Universe stuff. I've read a little bit of it. I didn't like it. I just didn't care for it.
You probably this movie wasn't your conceived version of Spider-Man.
It was not my Spider-Man. It's much like with some things, some people don't like that there's now a female doctor on Doctor Who. I don't care. Because the gender doesn't really matter on that one.
Okay,
that's built in.
We're sticking with this for a second here. And this is what bothers me still, is that Spider-Man this was not your Spider-Man. But you love Justice League. You love Justice League. And none of those characters in Justice League are the characters in the comics. None of them. I don't want to hear...
Well, no. I thought, as you were starting to say that, I thought of another example that would be similar.
Okay,
we'll come back to Justice League, but this is more of one I think we'd agree on. I think Evil Dead.
Right.
The original Evil Deads we both love.
Absolutely.
And the original 3 movies, Evil Dead 1, 2, and then Army of Darkness, there's a certain tone to those movies.
1.5, I think. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a certain tone to those movies. There's a certain expectation when you go into those 3 movies of what they're going to be.
Right.
I mean, you might not have known that going into 1, but, there's a certain expectation set there. Then they did the remake, and it was nothing like them. Yes, you had the same setting.
The remake I enjoyed.
But it had nothing to do with the original stuff. And I don't mean the timeline. I mean the tone of it.
Yeah, it was much darker. It was actually a horror movie.
Yeah, it was a horror movie, not a semi-horror spoof comic.
As a matter of fact, I think the remake actually, I jumped at one point in time in the remake.
So there you go. Yeah. To me, I didn't care about seeing another horror movie.
Okay.
I'm not as big a horror fan, but I didn't care about seeing another horror movie. Doesn't mean it couldn't be made well. Spider-Man was made well. The actors did a good job. But like with Evil Dead, I didn't care because I want to see Ash vs. the Evil Dead on TV. To me, that was the extension of Evil Dead. Even if you replace Ash, you could recast. But if you keep the same feeling, I mean, we've recast Bond how many times?
No.
Sometimes really good, sometimes not so good.
Don't you trust Timothy Dalton? I know you mentioned him right there. They're not so good.
Yeah, but in some of Roger Moore, let's just go with Roger Moore. He had some really good movies and some really bad movies.
Sure.
It wasn't about the actor in that case. It was about the script and so on. To me, that was Spider-Man. Spider-Man, I'm sorry, Aunt May should not be young, sexy. Just for my Spider-Man, Aunt May is a feeble old woman.
I agree with you there.
You need to have the strong J. Jonah Jameson, Daily Bugle setting. You need to have, the Flash Thompson as the big dumb jock who loves Spider-Man and hates Peter Parker.
No, you're making your points, but again, and I agree with you there.
Yeah.
That Flash Thompson was not Flash Thompson from the comics. Flash Thompson should not be in the debate club. He should be a jock for the football team.
So my point is, no matter how good that movie was made, I didn't care anything about watching it because it was not a story I cared anything about because it was not my Spider-Man.
Now let's go to Justice League though. You gave it because you're saying that's not a good movie because those instances. Justice League, a movie you loved, right? You loved the movie?
Yeah.
I watched it, first time I watched it, just like, it was meh. It was C. I watched it again recently, and I gave it like a D+. It's not a good movie, and one of the main reasons is those characters aren't the characters in the comics. Superman was raised completely different in the comics. Completely different character in the comics. Wonder Woman, okay, don't know much about her. Cyborg looked terrible to begin with. Let's even talk about him. Aquaman, I know he says Peter David's Aquaman. It's not. It is not Peter David's Aquaman. That is the surfer boy, bro, jock Aquaman that I've never seen in any comics at all in my life. Flash, one of my favorite characters in DC Universe was Flash, was terrible in that movie. They had Jesse Eisenberg at the very end of the movie, spoiler. Terrible Lex Luthor. These are not the characters from that time setting, but you're liking that. So,
and we're interpreting it very differently, too. So, Cyborg. You didn't even want to talk about Cyborg. I thought he looked great.
He did not look great.
I thought he looked perfect. I thought he played it really well. I thought the actor did a great job with it.
The actor did a good job from what he looked like, but he didn't look like he's in any of the scenes.
Wonder Woman was Wonder Woman in the movie.
I won't deny that fact. She was great.
I love Ben Affleck's Batman.
Affleck's Batman didn't want to be there at all.
I wish they had made him younger. I wish they made him younger. But other than the age, I thought they had Batman down.
He was a wasted
well.
character in that movie.
Aquaman, I do see it. Aquaman has been so all over the place in the comics. He has been so all over the place in his personality and the setting and the origins and everything else. They picked probably an amalgam of all that kind of stuff. Closer, I think, to the Peter David one, but it's an amalgam of all that. I was fine with Aquaman. He was one of the most fun parts of it.
He was, but he wasn't Aquaman from the comics.
Superman is Superman. His parents, they got wrong completely.
But
parents completely wrong. But
right.
Superman, they got
Superman done right, but his whole origin is completely off.
But the origin is not in Justice League.
There is no reason for him to be where he's at. The way he was raised, he should not be one of those guys that's the hero. The ways the Kents raised him in the comic books, he should be the Superman hero he is in the comics. They raise him, don't tell anybody who you are, let them drown. Maybe you should let them die.
Yeah.
What? What? No.
Yeah, no, Mom and Pa got completely wrong. But again, in Justice League, the movie, that's not there. That doesn't exist. That's from the previous two movies.
Oh, then we're talking Man of Steel then.
But finishing this one, Flash. I will agree with you on Flash, except for one thing. The best performance in the entire movie, I think, for subtle stuff, was I'm blanking on the guy's name.
Ezra Miller, whatever.
Yeah, Ezra Miller. He did an incredible job. Absolutely incredible job. They did not get Flash right for the movie. You're right. Flash was not done right. Ezra Miller did an incredible job with what he had. So as long as I liked everything else, and I think the Lex Luthor was good, but that's...
You think Jesse Eisenberg was good, Lex Luthor? Wow.
Anyway.
Okay, let's touch on different movies. Bring this up.
But anyway.
Okay.
So moving on. Armageddon. I'll do a two-parter. Armageddon and Pearl Harbor.
Right.
So
I've only seen them both once. Pearl Harbor, I actually fell asleep. I paid to see that in the theaters. I actually fell asleep during Pearl Harbor. It was so boring. Oh, God, that movie's so boring.
I enjoy it. If I'm not mistaken, it's another Ben Affleck, right?
Well, what was good about it, though? I just, what was so
I enjoyed
good?
it. I don't know. I like War Pictures. That's one thing.
It was War Pictures done bad.
I
I enjoy War Pictures.
Okay. I enjoyed it, though.
Okay.
I can't say much more than I enjoyed it and you didn't, but it was another good
And Armageddon,
example.
the same thing. Armageddon, I didn't fall asleep during. I paid to see it. There were cool parts in Armageddon. I won't deny that. The story I thought was weak. And that's Michael Bay. Michael Bay tells weak stories. He does.
And he's gone further and further downhill over time.
He does.
I
think now he does amazing special effects. So now he's focusing most on the special effects.
I think Armageddon is where he had his most success, in my opinion. Armageddon didn't have the structure of it, didn't have to have a deep story.
I would say probably The Rock.
The Rock would be about equal. I'd say Rock and Armageddon were about equal.
Okay.
Bruce Willis, Sean Connery. Sean Connery's a little bit better actor, but you still had a good, solid character in there. Daredevil.
Daredevil, the Ben Affleck one,
Yeah.
was absolutely horrendous. That movie was so bad, Jon-Paul.
So everything from the beginning of the movie up through him in the bar, which is what, the first 10, 15 minutes?
Okay.
Something like that. I thought was just perfect.
Okay.
Most of that's just visual.
Yeah, the first couple minutes of Sucker Punch was awesome, too.
All right. But 10 to 15 minutes, perfect. Did Bullseye?
Bullseye was so over the top.
He looked
His romance
wrong.
with Lecter was so forced. The fight scene in the playground was so stupid. I mean, is that enough for you to see this bad movie?
No, because I still enjoyed the movie.
Foggy was good.
Foggy was good. I thought Electra was good. I thought Kingpin
You
was
thought
good.
Jennifer Garner was good at Electra?
Yeah.
Have you seen the TV version of Electra?
Yes.
Much better.
Yes.
Much better.
Much better version of the character. I still prefer to see Jennifer Garner, but that's a
Wow.
whole other thing. Love
Okay.
Jennifer Garner. Love Jennifer
You can
Garner.
love her all you want. She does bad stuff.
Kingpin was great. I would say they did a good job
Compared to
with
the
Kingpin.
TV version, still no.
Actually, no. I still even think compared to the TV version, you got more fleshed out on the TV version, but I never felt the strength on TV. He always comes across as a little bit uncertain and a little bit weak.
It's more of an origin, I think, from the TV show.
And it probably is. That's probably the reason.
I think the movie is more established.
Very established, very certain of himself.
Oh,
very
I mean, he was
solid.
great, but I think the TV one was better still.
Yeah, I can't remember the actor's name, but the
Michael
actor.
Clark,
Michael Clark Duncan.
Duncan, yeah.
Again, everything he does, I love.
Oh, he's Green Mile, especially, but yeah.
Yeah, so he's great. But there's one. All right, so I'm gonna end with this. If you want to go further, we can. But we're getting short on time here. But I'm going to end with one that I know we disagree completely on.
Okay.
Green Lantern.
Bad movie.
I enjoyed it, and this is one that has grown on me more and more and more. I came out of the movie going, it was okay. Parts of it were
Now,
great.
you realize you're in the minority in this one, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
However, I'm not in the minority of one thing.
What's that?
Multiple people have started realizing that this movie is growing and growing and growing on them. Over time, it is becoming much more well received than it was originally.
Oh, originally it was like 18%.
I don't know what it was. Yeah.
Something really low. I can't remember what it was exactly.
But it is slowly gaining in popularity.
Yeah, I haven't watched it since. So maybe it is getting better. I mean, there are some movies I'd either watch the second time they're, okay, that wasn't bad. Like Batman v Superman. I did try to give it a second watch. The first time I almost fell asleep. Second time I watched it, I'm like, this is such a bad movie. Such a bad movie.
And again,
Suicide Squad, such a very, very bad movie. Some parts I liked,
and I love Suicide Squad.
and I can't
to
figure
this
that out
day.
why. I mean,
to this day, I love
you
it.
compared to Avengers.
Yeah,
And that
Still do.
that blows my mind.
still do.
You're definitely marrying that one. I gotta say right.
I would say the ending is much stronger in Avengers than the ending on Suicide Squad.
The villain was much stronger in Avengers. The team camaraderie was much stronger. The villain was much stronger.
It depends on it depends on the villain. It depends on what you mean by
Loki's
the
the
villain.
villain.
No, Loki is part of the villain.
Loki was the villain.
It's the whole alien.
No,
everything.
Loki was the villain.
Loki by himself is stronger, absolutely. But all the other stuff was, I don't know. There was some stuff about Avengers that, especially for the end sequence, even though the end I think was stronger, it definitely
The
showed.
story was better.
It definitely showed a big problem when you had the people who could actually fight something like this, fly up into the air and start fighting stuff like this, and leaving behind the guys on the ground who, I guess, will just kind of hang out down here and punch people.
They were keeping them separated from the city itself. They actually explained to you what they're doing,
Yeah,
as opposed to
it
Suicide
didn't
Squad.
work-
Just
didn't
like,
work
hey, I watched Suicide Squad again. Like, who shot this helicopter down? It was shot down the rocket. Who had that rocket launcher that shot it down? I can't figure it out to this day.
It's one of the bad guys.
No bad guys. The bad guys didn't have rocket launchers. The bad guys weren't using guns.
They had access to everything, though.
The creatures in the ground.
Yeah, they had access.
They
to everything.
know how to use that stuff.
Well, you don't know.
No. You make excuses.
What
was better than Suicide Squad than Avengers? Name one thing that was better than that movie.
In Suicide Squad?
Yes.
I like the characters much, much better.
Wow.
I do.
Okay.
I like that pool of characters much
Harley
better.
Quinn's one of my favorite characters of all time, and she was played well.
Deadshot was played well, I thought.
Deadshot was played well. I mean, but the character...
Captain Boomerang was great.
Boomerang was terrible.
I love Boomerang.
Of course you would. They had no... Avengers makes sense of why the team's together. Suicide Squad makes no sense why they put the team together.
Amanda Waller.
Amanda put this team together. Why would you put Harley Quinn, an acrobat, on this... that she knows being chased by the Joker?
Well, when she first put the team together, it was not for this mission. She put the team together for a different reason.
The whole reason the team was put together, as explained early on in the movie, was, hey, we got to do some dirty stuff. We keep our hands clean. So let's send the Navy SEALs with them.
Well, this came up out of nowhere. I mean,
You're stretching. You're stretching. It was a bad movie.
If I had to rewrite it, I would send them a different mission. I'd send them a completely different mission.
If you had to write Avengers, would you?
If I had to rewrite Avengers?
Yeah, would you?
There's parts I'd rewrite.
If you had to write Suicide Squad, write the entire thing.
No, I would change their mission.
Which is most of the movie, yes.
No.
The majority of the movie, Jon-Paul.
Not half. Not half the movie.
Wow. I can't even. This is the problem. This is why B-Man has gray hairs right now. He deals with this on a regular basis.
And that's the reason for all your gray, huh?
Yes.
That's the reason you're turning into Reed Richards.
You more gray hairs than I have.
Yeah, but I don't look like Reed Richards.
I don't like Reed Richards. Nobody says this.
Everybody.
Nobody says this.
And Doc Strange.
I'll take that with Reed Richards, sure.
Okay, but the two look very similar.
No, they don't. I look. Who says this? This is made up belief that people think.
Sharky, Karen,
no,
me.
They never said that.
I think I heard Quinn talk about it one day.
They said it because you made them say it. You use your power of authority over them. That's BS.
Alrighty. Well, looking at the clock on the wall, looks like we're about out of time here.
Yes, we are.
Any last thoughts? Here we go. What's the next movie we're going to disagree completely on? Completely.
Aquaman.
You think so?
Aquaman looks good from what I've seen in the trailers. Mm-hmm. But again, I thought Suicide Squad was so good. Trailer-wise, that whole movie was so bad. I'm hoping it's good.
My opinion, it's going to be Shazam. I think that's the one we'll disagree on.
You think so, huh?
Yeah. I hope I like it, but right now I have a feeling I'm not going to like it. And I think you're going to love it.
That trailer I actually enjoyed.
And I enjoyed the first part of the trailer, and then it went downhill.
Okay. The first part when he's just a kid?
When they're showing some of the mystery and all that, it was cool. And then once he actually became, I won't even say Captain Marvel, because he didn't become Captain Marvel. He became whatever. It just went downhill. So I don't know. We'll see where they go. But no, I'm betting it's that one. It could be Aquaman, but I'm betting it's Shazam.
It'll be DC related. Put it that way. It'll be DC related.
Well, it's probably going to be a big blockbuster movie, and those are two of the next ones.
Yeah, you haven't seen Halloween 2018 yet, so that could be one. You might think it's junk. I think you'll enjoy that one, honestly, though.
Yeah, no, but you're right. Could be.
Okay.
Oh, that's it. Going back to the news real fast. Alec Holland. We said, where do we know that name from? He's in thinking horror movies and all that. He's in It Part 2. He's one of the kids grown up. I can't remember which one. Name some of the names.
Bill, Mikey, not the girl.
No.
I'm blanking on the names now. Wow, that's bad.
Well, anyway.
Pete Ritchie.
I can't remember now.
Okay.
But anyway, he's one of the kids growing up in It.
Okay, well, that's good. Yay.
Okay, so on that note, this is Jon-Paul.
B-Man.
These were the old Titans thoughts for the day, and we are out of here.